We're less than a month away from Inauguration Day, and President Donald Trump is still claiming that the election was fraudulent. Less than 24 hours ago at the time of this recording, he tweeted out, I quote, "The Democrats dumped hundreds of thousands of ballots in the swing states late in the evening. It was a rigged election." Nice. Now, you've likely heard of the numerous lawsuits the Trump administration, or those just supporting the cause, have launched, only to have them be dismissed, thrown out of court, or not make it very far down the line. And I think there is now a common consensus across the majority of the country and the rest of the world that Joe Biden is going to be the President of the United States of America on January 21st. But what if somehow, someway President Trump is able to change that? Today on Life's Biggest Questions, we're asking, can Donald Trump still overturn the elections? Before we get into it, be sure to smash that like button or else I'll be president. And you guys don't want that. So in short, can Donald Trump still overturn the election? I mean, technically, I guess it's not impossible, but the odds are so unlikely, you'd probably have a better chance being struck by lightning after cashing in your winning lottery ticket. In other words, it's next to impossible, but technically it's not entirely impossible, so there's that. But where does that currently leave us? In a very weird place. The Trump administration has reportedly started briefing Biden's team to ease the transition as recently as a few weeks ago. However, there have since been reports that, although the transition has started, some government agencies are making things more difficult than others. For example, Biden recently admitted while addressing the nation prior to Christmas that numerous agencies are making the transition much tougher than it needs to be. I quote him saying, "The Defense Department won't even brief us on many things." Biden also mentioned there are other agencies not cooperating, but he didn't specify, explaining, I quote, "I'm not sure it's relevant whether the public should be aware." Reports are claiming Trump has actually been spending the majority of his time trying to get the results of the election overturned, instead of focusing on the problem at hand, obviously being the pandemic. At first, it seems a handful of Trump's allies were on board with the idea of turning the election over. But as the days have gone on, and there's been no real sign of anything changing, it seems those same allies have started to distance themselves from number 45. Reports are actually claiming that President Trump has privately acknowledged his attempts to reverse the election's outcome will fail, and a senior Republican, John Thune, went as far to say the challenge of the result will, I quote, "go down like a shot dog." Not very encouraging to hear, especially from someone on your team. A report by Axios is claiming that Trump is lashing out at everyone and anyone, which is turning his own against him. As per the report, I quote, "Targets of his outrage include Vice President Pence, Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, White House counsel Pat Cipollone, Secretary of State Pompeo, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell." And if these reports turn out to be true, well, that would likely give Trump a much tougher time getting things done, as his own will start to show less and less support, likely due to the fact that they're being treated, fairly poorly, and to save their political careers, something that Trump likely doesn't care too much about. However, what's even more important to talk about are these lawsuits, which Trump's administration have really been pushing. Congress is going to meet on January 6, 2021 to verify the election results, which appears to be the very last step in making everything official. Now, going back to Thune's comments about the challenge being shot down like a dog, he continued on by explaining, I quote, "I just don't think it makes a lot of sense to put everybody through this when you know what the ultimate outcome is going to be." That being said, there are other reports claiming that both senators and congressmen are being persuaded the election was fraudulent, and there may still be more support than originally thought. Mo Brooks, a representative of Alabama, is believed to have spoken with Trump, along with 12 other Republicans he brought with him, about a plan on how they can overturn the results. Speaking with Politico, he said, I quote, "It was a back and forth concerning the planning and strategy for January the 6th. More and more congressmen and senators are being persuaded that the election was stolen." Without naming names, Brooke claimed there are dozens of House Republicans and multiple Senate Republicans who are on board with challenging the results. But without naming anyone, you gotta question, is he blowing smoke, or is there merit to these claims? And to add insult to injury, it seems that even if somehow, some way the administration is able to get some states to overturn the results, they're going to need more than just one or two in order to really make some waves. Given that Biden won the election by a count of 306 electoral college votes to 232, even if a state like Pennsylvania, which is worth 20 votes, decided to give the state to Trump instead, it wouldn't change anything. That being said, it seems Trump and co. are still challenging the Pennsylvania Supreme Court in hopes that they do flip the results prior to the January 6th meeting. They recently submitted a petition seeking to reverse 3 cases within the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and are also asking that Pennsylvania General Assembly select new replacements for the electors who support Biden. Trump's main attorney, Rudy Giuliani, who is known for being New York City's ex-mayor and the guy who was set up in Borat's latest film, explained, I quote, "The petition seeks all appropriate remedies, including vacating the appointment appointment of electors committed to Joseph Biden and allowing the Pennsylvania General Assembly to select their replacements. In short, they're asking to dismiss the people's vote, which is usually what persuades the electors' vote one way or another. To no surprise, Giuliani is asking that the courts proceed as soon as possible so they can determine the outcome of the case prior to Congress's January 6th meeting. However, the justices aren't set to meet again before January 8th, which would be 2 days after Congress officially votes on the election results. It's believed in total, Trump or those supporting the cause have filed about 50 lawsuits in total, that's 50, with allegations of widespread voter fraud. And although there have been some instances of claims here or there, it seems there hasn't been nearly enough evidence for very many to get behind the idea of widespread voter fraud. This most recent case is believed to be the 4th launched by either Trump's administration or one of his allies in hopes of overturning the election results in Pennsylvania. It's believed as of this recording, about 10,000 mail-in votes are currently in limbo as courts decide whether or not said votes, which arrived after the polls closed but before the state's deadline, should be counted or dismissed. However, given Trump's administration's track record with these lawsuits, well, odds are they won't be in his favor. And still, Trump is getting support from people all over the country as donations continue pouring in, even during these trying times. Reports are claiming that Trump has contemplated having the US Department of Homeland Security go out and seize voting machines, but it seems US Attorney General Bill Barr doesn't see that happening anytime soon. When asked if it would even be legal for Trump to do so, Barr explained, I quote, "I see no basis now for seizing machines by the federal government. You know, a wholesale seizure of machines by the federal government." Bit of a deflection there, maybe he just doesn't want to speak out against the current president, but it still seems quite evident that he's trying to say it just doesn't make sense to do so. However, to no surprise, it seems President Trump and some of his most loyal aren't going to go down without a fight, and they're going to keep fighting right down to the wire. It's even believed that Congress's January 6th meeting could potentially go into the early hours of January 7th, assuming government officials do everything in their power to prevent an official Biden victory. Even though he's technically officially won numerous times now, until the government makes it official, it seems nothing really matters. In a last-ditch effort, sources have also claimed that President Trump has been considering appointing Sidney Powell, an election lawyer, to a special counsel to look into the election. Funny enough, Trump actually cut Powell from his legal team previously, and aside from that, as is usually the case, the president doesn't have the authority to even do so. That being said, Attorney General Barr does have the authority to appoint someone to special counsel, and it seems he's not planning to do so. Although Powell has been one of Trump's strongest supporters in advocating that the election was in fact the result of numerous outside forces leading to him losing the whole thing, Barr doesn't seem to think appointing anyone to this special counsel is necessary. Aside from looking into the election, he also spoke on the allegations made against Hunter Biden, Joe's son, which Barr also feels are unwarranted. Referring to Hunter, Barr said, I quote, "To the extent that there's an investigation, I think that it's being handled responsibly and professionally, currently within the department. And to this point, I have not seen a reason to appoint a special counsel, and I have no plan to do so before I leave." When speaking on appointing Powell, he said, I quote, "If I thought a special counsel at this stage was the right tool and was appropriate, I would name one. But I haven't, and I'm not going to." So all in all, technically speaking here, Trump can still overturn the election results, but the chances of him getting the results overturned in one state alone are slim to none. And given the fact that he would need multiple states to overturn the results, well, it just makes the odds of this actually happening next to impossible, as previously mentioned. That being said, 2020 has been quite a ride, so I'd be lying if I said I'd be surprised if somehow, some way, Trump and his team are able to pull this off. Looks like we just gotta wait and see how things play out. As always guys, let me know your thoughts on this one down below. For now, let's reply to some comments from the video. What if Krampus was real in 2020? Verst said, "Don't bully Krampus, he's just built different." Apparently I'm built different too, because if you look at me, I'm a unit right now. In this sweater, I'm a unit, and I don't know how I feel about that, but hey, it's all good, baby. I'm just messing around with you guys. Terminator156 said, "What if Ghost Riders, Marvel Comics, was real in 2020? Then Nick Cage's career would be revived again." I'm just joking, I just wanted to throw that in there because I remember Nick Cage was the Ghost Rider, and you know, I like Nick Cage. But yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. I think we should do that. I'm gonna recommend that one. So, got you, Terminator. Oof the Golden Fox said, "You picked the wrong house, fool." Oh yeah, I could see that happen. I mean, I feel like this was a reference to something that I completely went over my head, but that's okay. I'm gonna take it as Americans have guns. Anyways guys, that's all for this one. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Sweater now, huh?
Go like this. Look. There you go.
I'm looking like a beefy boy right now in this sweater. I don't know if I like it.
Cause what's your nickname on iOS?
Pepper.
Pepper? Just change it and be like, no, I'm
Beef?
jerky. I'm
Beef.
That's what you want. Okay.
Sick. Alright, just wanted to add some humor to a very political video, because I know you guys like to get very angry in the comments. So we're gonna get into a van down by the river! Alright, enough references there. You get that one?
No.
Well, it's fine. Mo Brooks, a representative of... Just got a little itch in the ear now.